Recalls everywhere, and yet just Tesla stinks. I don't think that's how it works, nor should it. It turns out that recalls are everywhere all the time. They just don't get the same kind of headline attention you might find unless you've got an Elon Musk backing you up. Let's have a quick chat about that. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. I'm joined this fine day by my good friend Herbert from Brighter. It's a channel I go to when I wish to get brighter because he's got amazing guests like Larry Goldberg and Jeff Lutz and Alexandra Merton, all your favorites, and me. I'm there, but I don't watch those. I've already seen them. I was there when they were recorded. We have a lot of fun. We do have a lot of fun, and I appreciate that. So I don't know if you heard terrible news. Of course, there's always terrible news. Almost every Porsche Taycan is being recalled over faulty brakes. More than 30,000 are subject to the recall, but only 5% of them are believed to suffer from the problem. So 5% of 30,000 is still quite a few. Does this concern you?
I don't why. No, I don't get concerned by recalls. Recalls have been happening regularly for so many cars. This one, though, is losing front braking pressure entirely. So, yes.
It's kind of a big one.
It's a big one.
But it's only 5% that may be affected. This is probably affected 2, 3, 4 cars, but that's still enough. I've seen people say, well, they never make the news unless it's Tesla. Well, this is the news. I'm reading it. They just don't go viral. They don't have the same appeal. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because we've had this news. Oh no, Tesla recalls over 11,000 over trim detaching and wiper issues. Now there were some real sensational headlines that, boy, you think the wiper's big. How about the size of this flop? They went almost that far. They just weren't as clever as me. But we've seen trim pieces detach. I'll warn you now, if you own a Tesla Cybertruck and you're getting it wrapped, ask the person who removes the bed trim pieces to put in new clips, because removing that piece of metal and then replacing it, you may wear out the clips. You may lose a piece of trim. I saw that happen to someone in Michigan, but there were enough people around that we recognized what it was, grabbed the piece, got it back to the owner, or notified the owner, I think is what we did. So yeah, the exciting part here is now we know how many Cybertrucks there are. How does 11,000 square with what your expectations were?
Looks a little lower. I thought it was going to be a lot higher than that. But aren't you? This could have been a certain period of time that this particular issue was happening. So
it could be.
Yeah. So first of all, it said that it was the first recall. It wasn't, right? Wasn't the very first recall the pedal issue? Now that was concern, but it was like a very quick, they just drill a little screw and they fixed it. So the recalls for a brand new vehicle is absolutely common. I don't know the number of parts, but it's like 20,000 parts for a car.
Right.
So it's and especially when you're trying to create a brand new vehicle that you've never done before. That's not just, I'm going to do a new vehicle, but it's just a variant of, like you said, when the Model Y was built, it was a variant of Model 3. But this is small little issues. These are tiny little issues. So what? But yeah, it happens. And actually, it's a good thing to have the recalls. And Jeff Lutz explained this. It's actually a really good thing when you launch a brand new vehicle, you do go slow. And that's why the smaller the numbers, the better. You want to wait 6 months to 9 months, get the recalls out of the way. Not a big deal for anybody. And then you feel much more comfortable at a year mark from now to just turn up the spigot and make it happen. So
I agree with all that. I would add to it that a early adopter will accept recalls in a way that a fleet buyer will not. So if you're going to buy 50 of these for your business, maybe wait, first of all, until Foundation Series has run, because a lot of those benefits are things that wouldn't necessarily help your fleet. But yes. And you said, so for a new car company, for a new thing, do you mean perhaps something like Fisker recalls Ocean days before bankruptcy? They recalled 6,000.
Is that for lawsuit reasons? They don't want to be sued, maybe?
Concerns of losing drive power. And it is now filed for Chapter 11. So it is an unfortunate reality. This is something that when you buy a new car from a new company, you may face. My concern with owning a Fisker is where you're going to get parts. Are you going to,
Yeah. Yep.
I think these are good for museums, and I don't know how much else. I think you would, if you own one today, you would probably drive it until it dies and then donate it to a museum. This is more of an unfortunate situation. They just didn't have the money. Their business model, paying someone else to build the entire car for you, leaves no room for margin.
Yeah.
Unless it's a very special car. Magna also makes the Toyota Supra, the BMW Z3, and the Mercedes G-Wagon. All premium priced vehicles with a whole lot of margin, using established technologies that Magna knows well. I did have a chance to talk with a engineer from Magna at CES, and I said, is it possible? He said, well, this is our first generation drivetrain system right here. And this is our second generation, which is something we're hoping to find customers who might want to buy it. And I go, that first gen one, is that for the ocean? He said, it is for a North American SUV. I'm like, so it's for the Fisker Ocean. I'm not allowed to say,
Yeah.
but it was so. And the difference between the two was remarkable. They learned a whole lot in a single generation.
Yeah.
But when it is a new vehicle, even if it's an established company, you've got room for recalls, guys.
Well, before we move on there, the
Sure.
thing about Fisker, right? I remember Fisker Karma, and I just looked it up here. 2007, Fisker Automotive. That's when they, Henrik Fisker founded Fisker Automotive. And the Fisker Karma came out in 2008, first delivered in 2011. And the reason I remember this, of course, was because I started getting interested in electric vehicles. And it was actually the Fisker happened to have a Fisker store right next to the restaurant that we would go to. And so I'd walk by it all the time. And I thought, okay, this is an electric vehicle. Looks cool. Great looking car. I thought it was great. Love the fact that there's, a new entrant. This was just around time that Tesla is coming out, right? So I just have fond memories for these guys. So Fisker Karma failed, and then now that this one here is a second coming of it, wasn't it? So that's
exactly right.
Yeah.
And the Fisker Karma was actually a hybrid with a GM 3-liter V6 in it. The good news on that is most of the problems you were going to have with the vehicle, because I did interview a couple who owned one, most of the problems you were going to have were with the GM drivetrain, but you could get parts for that. That's easy. But established companies even can have this problem. Volvo recalls all of their fully electric EX30 cars on a software glitch. So there's, they've got and Volvo is, of course, I'm not going to read your paywall nonsense, but they've got a lot of problems as well. But good news is when it comes to yes,
it's a software glitch. It's not a recall, right?
I don't know if they were able to do it over the air. I don't believe
they
were.
Right.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
See, is that funny? Yes.
You're used to companies that are competent.
I assumed that they could do it, but you're right. It's so they cannot do that. Oh my gosh.
They cannot.
So yeah, I'm just reading it here. 72,000 cars. The glitch. Over-the-air software upgrade required. So
well,
they need to upgrade the over-the-air first before they can do it. Oh no.
Well, even if it happens, it happens to the best of us. Fortunately, gasoline cars never face that. Oh, wait, Ford recalls 500,000 pickups because the transmission can just downshift to first. This is from June 25th. This is brand new news. Detroit is recalling more than 500,000 because it can do that. The recall covers certain F-150s made from 2014. Oh, well, to their credit, they'd only been making these for 70 years at that point, so can't expect perfection. And I'm not criticizing Ford, and I'm not criticizing Volvo or Fisker or Porsche or Tesla.
Yep.
Recalls happen. When you are at Thanksgiving and your cousin says, oh, did you get that new recall? Come on, man. Do you follow all recall news, or is there something secondary going on here that I should know about?
Hmm.
So I am, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I've
And
had,
these ones are big. I mean, this one's a downshifting from transmission.
oh, yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
The other
loss of
ones,
pressure on
yeah.
the front brake. That's if, in many situations that would be quite dangerous. I think you'd be able to get it
Hmm.
to the side of the road safely, but it would be terrifying. I have had one recall on my car since I've owned it, and it was the over-the-air update to change the icons ever so slightly. So,
Yeah, yeah. Changing the icons. That was the recall for the
mhm.
Tesla.
So scary, so dangerous. If you didn't tell me it happened, I wouldn't have known. What I'd
Yeah.
like to do is start a letter writing campaign to all
Hmm.
of the heads of departments at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, where
Hmm.
all of us mail them letters all the time, just
I think it's
endless
happened.
letters.
I think it's happened. There has been a what do you call these things? A change.org. I think there has been.
Oh, no, that's just a petition. No one cares
Okay.
about those. You ignore those. No, I mean physically, all of us,
I
thousands of
see.
us,
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to bury them in mail because mail is what they like. They love that
Hmm.
stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So, did you have a closing thought on
Yeah,
that?
I would just say, yeah, March 2024. So just a few months ago, a petition on change.org. NHTSA, stop requiring paper recall letters and classifying over-the-air updates as recalls. And that was submitted. Sawyer Merritt started
Oh,
that
good.
process. And I was just trying to see how many people actually signed it. And I don't think I have a number. Oh, 15,500 signatures. So that's still available. So if you go to change.org and look for NHTSA stop requiring paper recall, he's trying to get to $25,000 next goal. We're at 15,500. So
Very exciting. I'm sure they will treat it like all the other petitions and ignore it. So it's, but guys, you can look up their addresses, start mailing them stuff. They love mail. They just love it. It's their thing.
that's right.
So, so in the comments, what did we miss? What do we misunderstand? Did I get the whole idea of recalls wrong, or does the news media need to stop chasing the low-hanging clicks? Yeah, leave it all in the comments below. Like, subscribe, do the usual. Head on over to Brighter with Herbert, see what he's up to. Who knows? It's maybe even amazing. I have seen some of the people he's been able to get on the channel, and I'm jealous of your astronauts and your analysts and all of that. It's great stuff.
Yes,
So,
Brian.
guys, yeah. So stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you, clever robots on the flippity flop.